bananas. Scotty Barnes finds Barrett, and all three of these as the bench. It's reminiscent of that Kawhi shot years ago, isn't it? Another look, all the angles. They had to survive a Mobley three that would have won it for Cleveland. That forces a Game 7. The full highlight of that one is on the way as well. Game 6 from Houston. LA jumped the Rockets early, took the first three. Once again, no Kevin Durant for Houston. But the talented bunch that won LA, trying to win on their home floor, wasn't going to be their night. Rui Hachimura gets the dunk in. LeBron finds him with a bullet. LA up 5 after the opening quarter. James, step back, clean look at three. And the 41-year-old pushing the lead to a dozen. Luka cheering on from the bench. They play long enough, maybe they could get him back. It's James spinning with the left. The lead grows to 14. LA up 15. And Smart gets the block of Amen Thompson. Reeves with a pickup. James, step back. Bottoms from three. He had 14 in the second quarter. The Rockets had 13 as a team. It's 49-31 heading into the break. We have seen some offensive clunkers in these first rounds of the playoffs. Atlanta on Thursday, Houston tonight. And there's James. What a block from Jabari Smith Jr. It's always LeBron with the chase down, but here it's Jabari that gets the great block there. But LeBron can afford to smile because his team's still up by 20, make it 22 as Reeves attacks the cup. Rockets couldn't provide any pushback in this one. Here, Tari Eason with the miss, and Reeves hits the deck. He limped to the bench, didn't return in the game. You see he's yanked down, lands hard on his left hip, quad. I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to try to diagnose it, but he did limp off and didn't return. They didn't need him because they're way up. LeBron, one of his 8 assists here to Jackson Hayes. 28, 7, and 8 from James. A hug for his close friend Kevin Durant. And the Lakers have closed them out by 20. Lakers advance and get the reigning champions who housed them every game this year. This is the largest point differential against the Lakers ever, and the largest for a playoff matchup in the history of the NBA. That's the bad news. The good news, LA and LeBron have earned the right to play at least 4 more.
I think at this point, in my career, and I think I talked about just living in the moment a lot more, and being okay with celebrating the small victories. And I think we should be proud of the way we played, the way we handled this. This is our first first time in the playoff series together as a unit, and obviously being without our MVP candidate, and then without AR for his first 3 games. Was it 3 games? 4 games. First 4 games. First 4 games. Up against some obstacles, obviously, and I know they were out with a couple of their guys as well. But I thought we answered the call. I thought we answered the challenge, and for them to allow me to lead them, that means a lot to me.
It speaks to his greatness. He's to me, he's had the greatest career of any NBA player. You can argue all you want, and I really don't care to postulate on who's the greatest of all time, but he's one of, if not the greatest of all time. And for him to do it again and answer the bell again, it's really baffling in some ways.
Brian Windhorst joins me now. And Wendy, when the Lakers couldn't close this one out at home the other day, all of a sudden the conversation shifts to, man, if they blow this LeBron legacy, I think we're good there, but not an issue. He closes it out as the leading scorer in 4 of their 6 victories. What ought the conversation about this series and moving forward about the Lakers be?
Well, he just came out with such great energy tonight. Look, this whole evening in the NBA, as fascinating and dramatic as it was, it featured a lot of flawed teams, okay? There was a lot of flawed teams playing basketball tonight. And the Lakers, frankly, and the Rockets are two of them. But LeBron came out and he had tremendous energy and focus, and it absolutely set the tone for the rest of his team. Marcus Smart also gets credit for that. I don't know if you're aware of this, Scott. LeBron has the best record in closeout games in the history of the NBA, not only in volume, but in overall percentage. And he's actually closed out more on the road than he has at home. And so while it took a hit this week because he lost a couple of closeout game opportunities, he does know how to do this. And especially against an opponent that I think was, flawed. I think he set the tone. And getting to the second round this year, I don't know what's going to happen next week, but obviously they're going to be severe underdogs. But getting to the second round this year, considering everything, is a victory. And I know that we live in ring culture, and you're not supposed to say that anybody had a successful season unless they got a ring, et cetera, et cetera. Go tell the Minnesota Timberwolves they haven't had a hell of a successful playoff run. Go tell the Lakers they haven't had one. They have, and they finished it off tonight.
I agree, but you know how this goes. Now we change the conversation and the focus to the severe underdog that they are against the reigning champs. And it changes to a degree if Luka's available. What do we know at all about the possibility of a window for him returning?
He's not close. When you come back from a hamstring injury like this, you have to ramp up. You have to play contact basketball. You have to play 3-on-3 and 5-on-5. He hasn't played for a month. He's not doing any of that right now. So,
understood.
They do get an interesting little break here because the other games tonight push the start of the series to Tuesday, and that'll push out the series pretty much as far in the calendar as it can go. And I have no idea how Luka's going to be 14 days from now, but most likely you're not going to see Luka Doncic at the front end of this series, maybe at least for another week to 10 days on the minimum. So the Lakers are going to have a reality they're going to have to do it without. I have seen some strange things here in this postseason over these last 2.5 weeks, but this would top it. If the Lakers were able to get to this series to a point where Luka could come help them, it would truly be amazing, but that's their goal.
The Lakers end the season of the Rockets, and in doing so, the season of Kevin Durant, whose post-Warriors career feels like it's a nomadic existence and often joyless, or at least seeking it and not ultimately seemingly finding it. What's the trajectory that you believe he to be on at the moment?
Well, the Rockets can look you square in the eye and say that this season really was completely hampered by the fact that they lost their starting point guard before the training camp started, and that if they had Fred VanVleet and then they lost Steven Adams and then they had some other injuries during the season, that if you put that whole team together, that you would see a different outcome. And I can't necessarily deny that. But obviously, this did not go the way the Rockets wanted, and the fact that Durant was unable to have any sort of momentum in this postseason really sums up the year. So I think the Rockets could just bring their team back healthy and say, let's give it another run, or they could look to make structural changes. Really, I think they could go either way. I don't think there's a perfect answer here, but here's what I do know. Even if Houston was able to win this series, if Durant was healthy and they were to win this series like we all thought at the start, they would have somehow had to get through Oklahoma City and San Antonio. And I don't think they're in any position to do that. And the reality is any team in the NBA, especially the Western Conference, even if you're the young team like the Rockets, has that problem. That problem's still going to exist next year. And the Rockets getting to the next level is going to be a big challenge, even if they were 100% healthy and they won this series in a sweep.
All right, we'll close with a quick thought on this. I asked you about Luka, and you said we don't know because we don't. I asked you about Embiid a while ago, and you said I can't